Hey there guys, are you dealing with pain in your bench press? Or maybe you're just not comfortable, you don't feel like your technique's there? Well, we're gonna do a quick overview of the bench press today. So we had the short the other day talking about the shoulders in that position, so I wanna review unracking as well, because if you don't have a spotter, when you lift that bar, when you don't have a spotter, you naturally roll like this to get the bar off, and then when some people bring it down, they never reestablish this position. So I'm going to show you how to do that today. We're also going to talk about squeezing the glutes because we want to squeeze the glutes during every movement. And we're going to talk about where the elbows should trail and the different widths which can be good and healthy for the shoulder. So in that video, I used the cowboy analogy. You have your guns in your holster, you unholster, you draw right here. That's a great position for our bench press. That V position, that V in the upper body, not a T, V. So now, that V position, that doesn't mean that the elbows can't come out. Because if we bring the elbows out a little more, we can get a good stretch in that chest. And if you're a bodybuilder, you're gonna want that. So those elbows can come out a little, but they need to trail towards the hips. We don't wanna be out here. Oftentimes what I like to tell clients, and I even remind myself of this all the time, because we can tend to flare those elbows, it just happens. We've all pushed something or somebody in our lives. When you walk up to them, think about it. How do you naturally push them? Do you go like this, or do you go like this? You know what I mean? You walk to something, or you have to push somebody, or instinctually, your reflex happens. It's this, right? Working from the body. So it's the same concept with this bench press, okay? We want to be here, nice and tight and strong. And if my shoulder blades are black, or back and stuff back, look what's happening to my back, that nice little arch. We don't want a massive arch. We want the glutes squeezed on the bench and just a nice little natural lumbar arch on that bench to keep us strong, pressing the feet through the ground. Now, quick note, you will see me lifting my head. Most people should keep their head pressed back into that bench while they press. For me, especially on the flat bench, if I do that, it tends to swell my neck up, which then, especially on my right side, blows my right arm up, especially if I have to do a bunch of writing. So, I don't do that. Now, on the incline, it's different. I don't really flat bench often because it tends to flare my arms up. They actually swell during the movement. I can actually swell them, feel them swelling during the rep, to the point it feels like there's a snake. I was like in this drive, I feel a snake going up through my arm into my hand, then suddenly my hand goes numb, and then it's just pain. And it freaking hurts. It'll be like a press, and like I'll have the strength, and my arm just starts giving out. It's like one of the weirdest, oddest, painful, weird sensations. And then I end up standing up, grabbing my arm and shaking it out, like it almost feels like it's dead. It's insane, dead, but still feels pain. I don't know how to describe it. So flat bench is something I've really had to play with to see how my body reacts to it. So that's something you guys may have to do too. You might have to play with things and play with different angles. We always want to mess with angles. My warm-up video, maybe I actually forgot to mention that. One of the reasons why I do the warm-ups like I do is just hitting different angles of the joints and just getting the synovial fluid in the joints, that's the fluid in the joints, just all moved around, and blood and nutrients just flowed through all the whole body. So again, just to remind you, when we set those shoulders up for the bench and we press, we want to keep those shoulders back. See how my arms are locked out? We're not going to lock our reps out. See how I'm locked out and my back is still here? Most people, when they press that lockout, this happens. They press the shoulders forward and unlock the shoulder blades. And we want to keep those shoulder blades locked. So a great way to remember this is I like to tell people, pretend I'm holding an orange between your shoulder blades. I want you to squeeze that orange and make orange juice. So the whole time you're benching, you're making orange juice. And a great cue too is I like the shoulders back and then put your lats in your back pocket. And then we're making orange juice. And we want to maintain that through the whole press. If you have trouble maintaining that position, then you want to work some scapular contraction things, hanging scat pulls, things like that. Just a banded scat pull and different things like that. If I need to do a video on that, I can as well, because many people do have that issue. But more often than not, I find it's cognitive awareness. You make them aware of it and just activate it, and then all of a sudden they can do it for most people. They just don't realize that they're doing that, especially if they've never had a lifting partner to give them a lift off. That is super huge, guys. If you don't have a partner to give you lift offs, get one. It can help, because then you can set those shoulders up. They can lift it off and you're already set. Whereas when I lift off today, I'm gonna have to set my shoulders with load on. So let's get to it, baby. All right, so remember, we will touch the chest, but I'm not gonna be going the full way up. I'm gonna be going 90% range of motion, especially for me, and a lot of you guys probably deal with this, and most people do. The lockout can be aggressive, and it just, like, I don't wanna say wears on the joint, but it can beat it up, especially if you're someone that does deal with swelling already, and you have that swelling in there, and then you're forcing those joints into that locked position. It's only gonna aggravate things more. And that's something I've really found with my training is rotations, lockouts, and that means, you know, locking out bicep curls coming down or locking out a bench going out. You know, every concept of a lockout you can think of. And just evaluating different movements that bother you. Like, I very rarely normal back squat anymore because it makes the arthritis in my spine blow up. But I can cyclist squat, I can, you know, sumo squat, but conventional squat, if I do it, because I love doing it, I will do it every now and then for fun, I have to expect for a day or two for my spine, probably 3 or 4 days, for my spine to just not feel good at all. And then typically it also flares my arms up too. Just from holding this position, my arms go violently numb. You know, lack of blood flow, they'll turn bright red or bright white. And then that puts me at risk for blood clots. So I really have to be aware of those things and keep my reps a bit lower. If I do higher reps, low sets, you know what I mean? Or super long rest between, and usually I'll release my straps, let blood flow, and things like that. So be aware of these things. Keep journals if you need to. For a long time, I kept voice notes in my phone. I'd do it right in my text and then text it to myself. So I had like a list of them, and then I'd jot them in my notebook and keep track of what movements seemed to flare or what up, or look back, hey man, every time I did sumo deadlifts, my back blew up. But when I didn't do them and I did conventional, I was fine. You know, things like that. So let's get to it. Here we go. So I'm gonna be setting up on this bench. I'm laying down. I like to have this bar right about my eyes. A lot of people set up too far up in here, then when they unrack, when they press, they risk hitting these. So right here in my eyes, if you have the long arms here, make sure you're at the bottom of the arms and roll this the whole way down. I like to be about my thumb length away from the edge of the gnarl. The gnarl is the rough stuff on the bar. It's gnarly on the hand. So I literally stretch my thumb out and then wrap. So I'm here, plant my feet in the ground, slight arch in my back, squeezing my glutes. We're always squeezing the glutes. I'm gonna press it up. You can see how my shoulders roll forward. Now I'm locking my shoulders back and down. And then here we go. Elbows trail towards the hips and up and down. Breathing in on the way down, out on the way up. Just like that. So again, we're breathing in, out on the way up. Holding that breath until like the top of the movement if you need to, if it is a heavier load. If it's lighter, you can kind of push it out during, but if it's heavier, big breath in, and then as we're pushing out and it starts to get hard, breathe out and contract. Keeping those shoulder blades tight the whole time. You noticed how I maintained the arch in my back, my feet stayed planted on the ground, and I kept my glutes squeezed. Didn't lock any of the reps out, kept pumping nice and smooth. Also, we don't want to be like touching up here on the chest, okay? Right about where my nipples are here, boom. We want to think like a boxer. When a boxer punches someone, they want the elbow right behind the fist. That's why you don't punch people like out here. You know, when a good boxer throws the hook, it's right here, elbow behind the fist. Same concept when we're benching here. Sorry, I have this platform here. If I'm touching up here, look where my hand is. Look at where that bar is compared to my elbow. But if I'm here, I'm gonna be so much stronger, guys, so much stronger. So remember, shoulders back, squeezing the arms, lats in the back pocket, and you can see how that brought my hands. I'll back up a little. Watch this. Watch when I do this, okay? I'm here, shoulders back, lats in the back pocket. Look where those hands went. Look what happens when I bring the bar down. Right to where I was telling you to touch the bar, correct? So you can see how when people set up, especially, they lift off by themselves up here and then they're like this. Look at where that bar's at. Over my eyes. And most people don't even establish it over the chest. So they'll lift it off like this, get it over the eyes and start descending. And then it's like coming down on their chin and such. So we want to lift it off, get it over, set the shoulders, and then you're in that nice strong position. These are all really good tips for you guys. And again, a lot of these little tweaks are gonna help keep you pain-free or relatively pain-free. Especially guys, if you're doing a good warm-up. I take 10 to 15 minutes, not including my little stretches that I do of just like dumbbell stuff. And I have a video of that coming out, just me blasting through it really quick so you guys can give it a go. And it's pretty much just getting blood into the muscles, synovial fluid moving, and just the body moving really, really well, prepared for weight. Another thing I do, if the bench, my heavy movement, I do middle to the end. So I'm insanely warmed up for it. And then I also can't go quite as heavy. I'm fatigued. I'm forced to go a bit lighter. I'm thinking, oh, you know, I normally do 12 to 15 on flat bench, 265, 245, whatever. Oh man, I'm pretty fatigued. I should probably go like 205. Then you end up doing a 205 and it feels like it's 265, you know what I mean? So you keep yourself safer because you can't go as heavy, and we are dealing with arthritis, swelling, joint pain, numbness, among other things, guys. So we have to adapt. We have to change our training. We don't want to make training easier. We don't want to train less hard. We want to keep training hard. We just have to adapt the style of the training, the range of motion, the angles. Pay attention to what kills us in a good way and what kills us in a bad way. It's a good time, so play with it. You know, have fun with it. Try some of this stuff. Give me some comments and tell me what you thought of any of it. Tell me if any of it worked. Tell me if it made things worse. Maybe I can help you out and we can adjust it another way. We are all our own individual beings, and things can be a little bit different for each and every one of us. So feel free to ask questions. I've been there, guys. I know how hard it can be to be doing movements that you used to love and normally do, and now it aches and it hurts. And sometimes we might even be able to get you that movement back. Maybe there's something going on, an imbalance. We can take a look at things, evaluate the body, and be like, yo, you know, your iliopsoas is insanely weak, or your glute medius isn't even firing, something like that. And then all of a sudden, holy crap, my knee's not bad, my back's not bad, it was just an inactive muscle, this or that. We can figure it out, man. I'm here to help you. So feel free to reach out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give me some feedback. I know you're loving the shorts. Let me know if you like this longer style video. I'm trying to pack a lot into as short of a video as I can. That's why I'm talking fast and trying to keep it going. And I do have a mic on the way so that when I'm away from the camera, you can hear me a bit better. So I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. Please like, subscribe, share, comment away. Tell me if you liked it. Tell me if you didn't. Get your friends in on it, baby. Bring them in. So remember, we want to train hard, stay functional, never broken.